welcome to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how to wire up and how to connect a small Wi-Fi controlled device or a self-locking module that you can attach to a gate controller or a garage door controller, as long as it's got a specific set of inputs on that circuit board. For example, these gates that you see in the video here, they've been installed for approximately 14 years. They've got an old LiftMaster CB11 circuit board or control board that controls the gates opening and closing. And what this self-locking module does is basically completes a circuit on two of the terminal inputs on that circuit board that controls the gates, and then that can be done via Wi-Fi or 4G once it's set up. So you can control your gates via the EWeLink app that actually you have to install to configure the device. But you can then link that EWeLink app to SmartThings, which then in turn lets you connect SmartThings to your Google Home Assistant or your Alexa, depending on which one you're using, and you can then set up a routine or a voice command to open and close your gates, so it can be controlled by voice from in the house or from your smartphone.
In this video, I want to show you how for under $20 you can make your own garage door smart with very little upgrades and not actually changing out the unit. It's app controlled, it's Siri compatible, also compatible with Echo Dot and Google Home. It works on so many different ways, so let's go ahead and show you how to do this. So all you need is this relay right here. It's Wi-Fi connected, independent of any other sort of Arduino or Raspberry Pi, and all you need are two wires and a micro USB cable. It's a very simple setup with not a lot to it, which is great for you beginners out there with circuits and want to make your house smart. The way this works is you have two wires on one side, and when those are shorted, it will activate the garage door. This unit right here has two options for power, either micro USB or wires. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Setup is actually pretty simple. We open up the EWeLink app, turn on the device, and you can do quick pairing mode. Follow the instructions for that, but for me, I didn't have any success, so I used AP mode, and it's more of a manual way of doing it, but it works just as well. So follow the instructions throughout the app to set this up and connect it to Wi-Fi, but it's pretty simple and easy. Once we do have it set up, we'll go ahead to the device. You can look at all these different things, but we're not going to use them for this purpose. Go ahead into settings on the relay, and we'll scroll down until we find inching mode. We'll go ahead and enable that and set that to half a second. What inching mode does is it turns the relay on and then turns it off after half a second. This is so that it acts as a button press. Without inching mode, it turns on when you tell it to turn on, and it turns off when you tell it to turn off. With inching mode, it turns on for half a second. This is like a button press on the wall rather than constantly being on, so you don't have to turn it off to turn it back on if you want to close your garage door. So with that all done, let's go ahead to our garage door opener, and we'll go ahead and find out where our wall console is plugged into. You want to refer to your manual for this, but for mine, it is ports 3 and 4 labeled BWC for basic wall console. When you press the button, it shorts these two wires, completes the circuit, and activates the garage door. And we're going to be putting this in series with the wall console so they can still work as well. So first we'll need to put in our wires into the relay. The middle one is always going to be your ground, and we're going to want to put our other wire into the NO port. If you flip it around, on the back it does have labels. Ground is actually covered with the solder, but just know the middle is ground. And we want NO for the other wire. When we're wiring this to the garage door opener, it actually doesn't matter which one goes into which port, because they are not really using voltage at all. It's really just shorting the wires and completing the circuit. So first thing we want to do is unplug the garage door. Don't want to really work with that on power. Next we'll go ahead and put our wires into the two ports. It's fairly simple and easy. Varies based on your garage door opener. but just know that you want to keep the original wires in there as well. For powering this, you can either do it over micro USB or raw wires, depending on what your relay supports. I was not able to find a 5-volt source coming out of my garage door opener, so I power this over micro USB. Just know that you need 5 volts, 1 amp if you want to do it over the wires. So all we need to do is plug in our garage door opener into power, plug in the relay into power, and make sure that both lights turn on. That way it's on and connected to Wi-Fi. And then now all we have left to do is test the thing out. So we'll just go ahead and press the button. As you can see, it turns on and then turns back off. And then our garage door opens perfectly with really no issues and not much of a delay at all. From here we can do stuff like what I showed you in a previous video, where you can use Siri to close the garage door even though the EWeLink app doesn't support the shortcuts function, but it does integrate with IoTTT, Amazon Echo, and Google Home, so you can use all of these smart home services to open and close your garage door.